original.
Hello, and welcome to Webcrawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week, we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. I'm Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And unfortunately, that's all, folks.
That's
Melissa,
all, folks.
That's all, folks. Who are our patrons for today, if we have any?
We have Christine and Ashley.
Christine and Ashley, welcome to the team. Get excited about some fun things to come. I'm going to Mexico this week, Puerto Vallarta.
Leaving the country at a good time.
Leaving the country, yes. Although I read this morning there's a hurricane in Puerto Vallarta
No,
right now. So.
Is there?
Yeah.
What? Oh, when is landfall?
But it's apparently.
Oh no!
But I think I know, but I think it's like intermittent showers. We were like, oh God, do we cancel our vacation? But it's too late to do that. But I think it'll be okay.
You know, it's even if you're there when there's a rainstorm, like it's just fun being there.
Yeah, and it's an all-inclusive resort, so we can just eat all day.
Just eat tacos all day.
Exactly, but maybe I'll do some
live from the hurricane.
Live from the hurricane, Allie Siegel for Patreon was what I was getting at.
The wind, the rain pushing you over. I was just looking at the weather for Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah,
it'll be warm.
Yeah. It's hot and rainy. Every day it's like 75% chance of rain.
Warning, tropical storm.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it'll pass. Those things die down all the time before they hit land.
Yeah, and also 75% chance of rain means 30% chance of not rain.
Or 25%. However you do your math.
However you do your math. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. We called the resort this morning and they were like, yeah, it's just intermittent. And
okay.
But you know, knowing my luck, we're going to get stuck there or die. So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Today's episode is worse than me going to vacation and having there be a tropical storm.
Worse.
Way worse. As you know, as I'm sure you know, Roe versus Wade has been overturned at the Supreme Court.
Insane.
Yes.
Like we knew this was going to happen because of that leaked thing.
Yes.
But it's still here. Just seeing it was like, are you shitting me?
It's still shocking that we have less rights than our grandparents
I didn't realize that.
Me either, in terms of our bodily autonomy. That makes sense to people going backwards that way.
It's those Christians on the Supreme Court and their weird beliefs.
Yes, imposing their religious beliefs onto the United States.
And what's crazy is that the majority of Americans don't want this overturned. It's the super small portion of the people who want this. It's not even like it's, divided like Trump thing. It's like, no, most people don't even want this.
Exactly. And it shows the huge disconnect between politicians and the people we elect and their actual knowledge of what the people want.
Yeah, they don't know what we want. They're not on Twitter. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they don't follow the hashtags. They need to know. So I'm sure you all know this, but it's been left up to the state's discretion to figure out what they want to do with abortion.
It's left up to the states, but how about they leave it up to the people?
Exactly.
It's crazy that they're like, it should be federal law, but we'll leave it up to the states. Well, like, it can't be both. It's either or,
Right. Yeah. So our episode today, to put a web crawler spin on it, is the Satanic Temple, which Melissa is a member of, is offering a religious exemption that can, they say, allow women to get an abortion in states where it is now illegal.
Correct.
So we are going to discuss the validity of this, what exactly it is that they are offering or saying that they can provide, and talk about what a religious exemption is and how it's been used by the Satanic Temple and how it's used over time. Because this is all new to me. So let's get into it. What is religious exemption? So a religious exemption is a legal privilege. It's a privilege. It's a legal privilege, and it exempts members of certain religions from. I'm going to do that whole sentence over again because I'm not okay. A religious exempts. What is wrong
Are you having a stroke? Do you smell toast?
I think I am. Yeah.
Do you smell toast?
I do. A religious exemption is a legal privilege that exempts members of a certain religion from federal, state, whatever, laws, regulations, and requirements. So they're made for a myriad of reasons, but most broadly because certain religions have drug use.
Oh, yeah, vaccine exemptions.
Yeah, or grooming methods or outfit choices that might conflict with governing laws, and they need to be put in place for them to be religiously exempt. So, for example, and I thought that this was super interesting, peyote is traditional for a lot of Native American tribes, but it is illegal in the United States. So one of the first cases of religious exemption was indigenous tribes saying we need to use peyote for our religious ceremonies. It needs to be legal for us.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, me either. So also cannabis is traditional in Rastafari.
Oh, that's part of their religion.
I did not know that.
Oh, I thought it was just part of listening to Bob Marley.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Also, laws governing alcohol may sometimes grant exemptions for practices such as Eucharist.
Oh.
Or I would imagine maybe on Passover.
Oh, right.
You take like a small drop of Manischewitz and put it on your tongue for the plagues.
Oh.
Maybe that's a religious exemption that children are also allowed to do that. So there's religious exemptions for vaccination.
Boo.
Yeah, seriously. Jehovah's Witnesses have challenged child neglect laws with religious exemption because they don't provide medical assistance. I know. Isn't that crazy? So it's a controversial subject.
Yeah.
Some religions have requirements of how to dress or groom. So, for example, Sikhism requires its members to carry a kirpan, which I believe is a knife-shaped object. They carry it in their turban, if I'm correct.
Oh.
Yeah, so
they can carry it on an airplane or something?
I believe so. So I believe there's a religious exemption for that.
Oh, interesting.
Different states have different religious exemption laws, which I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because isn't like polygamy legal in Utah, but it's illegal elsewhere?
Yes. There's broad religious exemption laws, which apply to everyone.
Right.
And then there's targeted religious exemptions, which are individualized. So, for example, some child welfare services can refuse to place and provide services to children and families, including LGBTQ people and others, if doing so conflicts with their religious beliefs.
Oh.
In Alabama, they have broad constitutional exemption law. Alaska has no religious exemption laws.
Shout out Alaska.
Yeah, the more progressive states don't have religious because we're just fine with whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of the more conservative states have these religious exemption laws. For example, when there was that popular case where that bakery refused to make a wedding cake for that LGBTQ couple.
And they didn't get in trouble because they were in...
Yeah, they were in a state that had religious exemption law. So they said, we don't have to provide.
Cool people.
Exactly. It even says here I'm on a website called lgbtmap.org about religious exemption laws. It says targeted religious exemptions even permit medical providers to refuse to serve LGBTQ people and others if doing so conflicts with the providers or providers' employers' religious beliefs.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. And I'll go into how that is used by some companies and also business services like we just talked about with the wedding cake.
That's insane.
Yes.
What kind of backwards ass law? I'm not going to bake you a cake because you're gay. Cool.
It's insane.
Okay.
So I'll say with the medical provider thing, for example, the company Hobby Lobby uses targeted religious exemption to not provide their workers with insurance or health care because they say that their workers could use their insurance and health care to get birth control and contraception.
That's right.
And that's against their religious beliefs. So they use this religious exemption, targeted religious exemption, to not give their workers insurance.
Fuck you, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, fuck. If you as a web crawler have been shopping at Hobby Lobby, it's time to stop.
Go to Joann's.
Yeah, go to Joann's, Michael's, Joann's Fabrics, Home Goods. There's good and bad to religious exemption, obviously. And the Satanic Temple is trying to use religious exemption to help women get abortions in states where there were strict abortion regulations and now obviously where abortion is illegal.
Right.
Now, some of the tenets of the Satanic Temple state. Tenet 3 says, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Because obviously the religious exemption has to correlate with the beliefs of the religion.
Right.
Tenet 5 says beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's belief.
I believe in that.
Well, you're a member.
You're
a card-holding member of the Satanic Temple. For those of you who might not have listened to all of our episodes, I once wrote a direct message to Lucian Graves, the founder of the Satanic Temple, asking him to be on our podcast. And my message was so eager that it scared him away.
I sent him a message too.
Did you respond?
No. I mean, I don't...
He's busy.
I don't even know if he got it because he doesn't follow me, so it might just be in the message requests.
Yeah, that's mine was too, but he'll get to it.
Yeah.
They have an abortion ritual on their website because...
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It has to be a religious ceremony. So this is on their website. It says satanic abortions are protected by religious liberty laws. In accordance with the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, first trimester abortions are now exempt from unnecessary regulations for all individuals practicing the Satanic Temple's religious abortion ritual. There's a disclaimer. It says, while legal precedent dictates that we have the right to practice our abortion ritual, unimpeded by government restrictions, neither a violation of that right nor what the appropriate remedy is has yet to be recognized by the courts. So we'll get into that they have sued the courts for this religious exemption, and unfortunately they've lost both times. Mm-hmm. Until the law is settled on this issue, any legal demand for a right to abortion services without government interference will likely result in litigation. The abortion ritual should be performed in consultation with a minister of the Satanic Temple. Please contact us immediately if you are a member in need of an abortion. So they're saying that hopefully this can be used as a loophole. However, so far the government has not acknowledged it as a loophole, but that they will help you with a case in trying to fight that.
Yeah, because they are a recognized religion. in the United States. So they should get what they want. But I mean, whether they'll be successful will be up to like governors in those states.
Yes. And they have had a few cases so far where they have lost. Should we play this YouTube? I don't know what it is, so we might have to cut this out. But I can show you the link.
On the Satanic Temple abortion ritual?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Better not be an ad.
The Satanic Temple advances many just causes that protect the religious rights of our members. We champion pluralism and have repeatedly taken legal action to assure that Satanists receive the same treatment as members of other faiths.
It's music.
Our ability
I'm not loving the background music.
Our beliefs has been aided by the enactment of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. This law generally prohibits the government from interfering with a person's free exercise of religion, which includes the performance of religious rituals. The Satanic Temple's rituals adhere to our tenets, which value science and assert bodily autonomy. As an expression of our deeply held beliefs, the Satanic Temple has created a religious ritual that involves terminating an unwanted pregnancy during the first trimester. The religious abortion ritual involves the recitation of our third and fifth tenets, along with a personal affirmation.
8-minute long video.
Okay, we can cut it. We get it. I like that it's like a heavy metal, like death metal. So that's interesting. They're saying that it's a ritual, and under the religious exemption or the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, you're allowed to have rituals, and so they're calling this the abortion ritual.
Yeah, so hopefully, like, because they keep going to court, but hopefully it opens up some loopholes, and and if they do deny it, then they can, like, that'll set up a precedent for, like, denying other religious claims. So, like, it feels like it should work.
Yeah, so they're saying examples of requirements that cannot be enforced on Satanists are mandatory waiting periods. So, for example, in these, in these conservative states that do have in the past allowed abortions, but have limited access to them, you go to the abortion clinics, and even the abortion clinics are still conservative. Mm-hmm. So they will show you a video or give you literature that is very pro-life, trying to convince you to end up not having an abortion.
Not to mention the people who are picketing outside, who are harassing people that are walking in.
Exactly. So they'll show you all this pro-life material and videos and then make you wait 72 hours.
Ugh.
And then come back if you actually want the abortion. So they're saying that this religious exemption would make you not have to have that mandatory waiting period. It says the requirement that practitioners withhold certain medical information, compulsory counseling prior to abortion, required reading materials, medical unnecessary sonograms, mandatory listening to the fetal heartbeat. So in these conservative states, they make you listen to the heartbeat.
That's so cruel.
Compulsory burial or cremation of fetal remains.
Oh, you have to have a fucking funeral?
Yeah. So they, horrible. So in these conservative states in the past, when they have allowed abortions but limited access to them, they've made you go through this whole process. They're saying
you can hear the heartbeat. I heard it, I think after 8 weeks or something. It was like pretty early, but it's still, it's a little blob. And I'm like, this doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a person. I'm sorry. This is a clump of cells.
It's a vibration.
It's just organs. Like, it's not anything.
It's electricity.
Yeah.
I can hear my lava lamp's heartbeat if I plug it in. So they have the list of how to perform this satanic abortion ritual. So it says, for surgical abortions, prior to receiving any anesthetic or sedation, look at your reflection to be reminded of your personhood and your responsibility to yourself. Focus on your intent. Take deep breaths and make yourself comfortable. When you are ready, say the third tenet and fifth tenet, which we've read, out loud. You may now undergo the surgery. After the surgery is completed and any anesthetic has worn off, return to your reflection and recite your personal affirmation. Feel doubts dissipating and your confidence growing as you have just undertaken a decision that affirms your autonomy and free will. The religious abortion is now complete.
You know what? I like that.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah.
Now they're saying for medical abortions, which is when you take the abortion pill. Immediately before taking the medications to terminate your pregnancy, look at your reflection to be reminded of your... it's the same thing. Okay, but at the end says, after you have passed the embryo, return to your reflection and recite your personal affirmation.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, it says, and the personal affirmation is, by my body, my blood, by my will, it is done. And then they have a regulation exemption letter. It says, as a federally recognized religion, the Satanic Temple utilizes RFRA, which is the Religious Freedom Restriction Act, and the Hobby Lobby precedent to protect its members from unnecessary abortion regulations. So they have this letter that you can bring to wherever you're getting your abortion, so you don't have to have all these, compulsory burial or listening to the heartbeat, etc. Let's take a quick break for announcements. Webcrawlers has a Patreon to get access to bonus episodes, merchandise discounts, shout outs, and more. Please go to patreon.com/webcrawlers. You can donate as little as $2 a month to become a Bimbo patron. Also, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will shout you out. Also, Urios has a hotline. Insert jingle here.
626-604-6262.
It has really been popping off as usual. We get tons of voicemails. We love you so much, so please keep them coming. Now, back to our scheduled program. Now, they're providing all these things. However, as we said, they've had a few lawsuits that they've lost. So there is one case in 2019 in Missouri and another in 2020 over the informed consent law. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear either case.
Oh, it didn't even get
there. The Missouri Supreme Court dismissed the Satanic Temple's members' religious challenge to a state law that requires one of the nation's longest waiting periods for abortion and mandates that women be offered an ultrasound first. They did not. First, they stalled the... I'm having long COVID. They stalled. They kept stalling the case until after 9 months. And then they said, well, it's been the entire term of a pregnancy now, so it doesn't matter anymore. This case doesn't matter anymore. So we're just going to throw it out. And they threw out the case.
Interesting.
And then the other one in 2020, Federal Appeals Court axes satanic abortion lawsuit. The anonymous woman, Judy Doe, sued, arguing the law violates her religious freedom as a Satanic Temple member. The Satanic Temple doesn't believe in any literal Satan. The court wrote that the case demonstrates why Missouri wasn't wrong to promote viewpoints on life that Doe argued align with the Catholic religion. So they threw it out. I think a lot of it is people questioning the legitimacy of the Satanic Church.
Which seems crazy because, any other religion is recognized. Why are they not recognizing this?
Right.
I guess I just have to keep going to court and just keep suing, and then eventually they'll win a lawsuit.
Yeah. What I gathered from this is that I think that they are trying, but so far their efforts have been unsuccessful. And I got a message last night from someone on Twitter saying, the Satanic Temple is actually bad. And that kind of interested me because I see so many people retweeting this stuff about the religious exemption.
Including me.
And me, yeah. And this is a woman who's in the Satanic Temple. And she was saying, actually none of this is true about the religious exemption. There's also a Jezebel article coming out soon, which we'll get into as well. So this is what she said to me. She said, "Hi, Allie. I'm reaching out to you because I've heard you talking about the Satanic Temple in the last few Web Crawlers episodes and seen you tweeting a few things about them. With the news coming out today, there's no doubt that women in the U.S. will be reaching out for any organization willing to help them access safe abortions. I'm a member of the Satanic Temple, though lately I've taken a step back from it. I've seen a lot of problematic reports about how funds are used within the temple and about how the leader Lucian himself, sexual misconduct and racism being the top issues. I've even reached out to my local chapter about some of these things, and I either got the brush off or was told to read a book written by the founders, which seemed pretty biased as source material." Anyways, I've seen groups like Queer Satanic and the LA chapter of the Satanic Temple that actually separated from the official Satanic Temple claim a lot of these same things, including the fact that the Satanic Church doesn't have that much, if any, history of actually completing the process of helping women gain access to safe abortions, which I think we've also garnered is true. I've gotten to a point where I'm just frustrated as hell because many roads of research are leading me to believe that the organization is just another example of corruption. A lot of members of the church joined the group for the same reasons I did, to build a community, help out where government fails, and to use the same religious loopholes to help citizens instead of being a detriment to them. But I just couldn't turn a blind eye to all the stuff I was seeing, and I worry that after today, many women will turn to the church only to find no real aid, instead of looking for other organizations that may be able to help. Then she says, "I could be completely wrong in all this too. I'd love to find out that she'd love to find out that she's wrong. There aren't exactly peer-reviewed sources for this stuff. My degree is in world religions. And for those 7 years studying religions and cults, I had my go-to spots for trustworthy articles, books, and manuscripts on all things spiritual, religious, and the occult. But for this one in particular, well, it's been difficult to say the least. I imagine because it's a new religion. I think it was like 2013 or 2016 it was created. Anyways, I'm sorry this was super long, blah, blah, blah." So then she just that's essentially what she was saying. And then she said that it was also a little dubious that they're trying to get donations to help with the abortion
Right, because
aid.
they haven't officially helped anyone yet. That these are just lawsuits.
Yes. And then further on that note, they have a lawyer who is I believe working for them pro bono.
Oh, yeah.
Her claim or her question was, why do they need money for the lawsuits if their lawyer is working for them pro bono? So there's a Medium story by this woman named Emma about why she's leaving the Satanic Temple. And it's about the lawyer for the Satanic Temple, whose name is Mark J. Randazza of the Randazza Legal Group. And he is also the lawyer for, unfortunately, Alex Jones in the lawsuit brought against him by Sandy Hook parents.
Red flag.
Yes.
That's weird.
And he's also defending the Satanic Church in their freedom of speech and freedom of religion litigation.
Yeah, why? Why would you hire that guy?
So people in the church are like, morally and ethically,
like, what the fuck?
We don't agree with this. And then I quote, she says, "The other major point that keeps getting brought up in the discussions of Randazza is the fact that he has offered to represent TST pro bono, meaning no valuable resources would be diverted from other campaigns. I agree that this is a rare opportunity, one that I wish TST were given more often. But since this is the fact of the case, I have to wonder why so much of TST's messaging to members and the general public about the Twitter lawsuit has focused on a need to raise funds."
Good point.
So she's like, where are these funds going if they don't have to pay for the lawsuits? So a lot of people are leaving the church because they don't want to be affiliated with this lawyer who is also the lawyer for Alex Jones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In this Sandy Hook case. Yeah, of course. There's also an article that's going to be written by Jezebel. Lucian Graves tweeted, I believe, June 23rd, yesterday,
a few days ago.
2 days ago, yeah. He said, tonight I spoke with a TST minister and reproductive rights advocate, Chalice Blythe, about an email I received last night from a quote-unquote journalist offering me a 24-hour ultimatum to address vague accusations regarding TST's religious reproductive efforts. And I guess it was from Jezebel. Melissa, you had the...
Oh, yeah, I have the screenshots.
Pictures. Will you read those?
Yes, I will.
Thanks, babe.
So you're welcome. So this email's from Susan Rinkunas to Lucian, or to the Satanic Temple, about the legality of the abortion ritual. Hi there. I'm writing a story about the Satanic Temple's religious abortion ritual and fundraising for its religious reproductive rights campaign. The story quotes a lawyer specializing in religion and abortion fund, and a source familiar with the Satanic Temple's operations, all discussing the strength of the Satanic Temple's arguments and saying the ritual could put people in danger. I wanted to give the Satanic Temple the opportunity to comment before my deadline of 5 p.m. Thursday, June 23rd, which was a few days ago. Oh. Here's a list of questions regarding concerns raised in the story. What evidence do you have to support the claim that first trimester abortions are exempt from unnecessary regulations? Relatedly, why does this statement only apply to first trimester abortions? Do you view these above statements as offering legal advice to TST members? Will TST provide legal counsel for members who have abortions involving the TST ritual and face legal action? Good question. What efforts has TST made to clarify whether, as viral social media posts / videos claim, that people can quickly join TST and then have a legal abortion? Does TST take a position on religious beliefs needing to be sincerely held?
Oh, that's interesting. So in a court of law, are you going to have to prove that you believe the tenets of the Satanic Temple?
Your May 5th, 2022 Twitter statement says TST will sue the FDA over access to abortion pills. Has that suit been filed? Good question. How much money has TST's repro campaign raised since the Texas abortion ban went into effect? What has TST done with any funds raised in excess of costs for legal representation? That's good to know where all the money went. And abortion advocates are increasingly concerned that your reproductive rights campaign is unhelpful and even legally dangerous for pregnant people. What is your intended purpose in challenging abortion restrictions? Thank you, Susan. Those are all very good questions. They just kind of want to know where the money's going and what have you done.
You got to follow the money. And has anyone truly been helped?
Very transparent.
Yeah.
If they're a very transparent religion that they claim to be. So, I mean,
exactly.
Hopefully that comes out soon.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that article. I think it was just kind of important to clarify what that all was and what that all meant, because it is going around like, join the Satanic Temple and you can get an abortion. And it'd be horrible if someone did that and then did get prosecuted, because the truth of the matter is that they haven't won a case yet using that religious exemption. So don't do that yet. And let's wait to really see the validity of this religious exemption under the Religious Freedom Act.
And I was
those
Googling
kind of claims.
Lucian Graves controversy. And I did find something from 2003 where he was on a podcast when his name, before he was Lucian Graves, because his real name is Doug Mesner, or that was his previous name.
Weird.
He was just on like some podcast, like cringy podcast, joked about like Satan and like Jewish people, like satanic Jewish people. And then someone found it and brought it up, and he responded. He was like,
what did he say?
My views change, or he's like, it was recently brought to the attention that a snippet from a 15-year-old Might is Right radio show featuring our co-founder, Lucian Graves, is being widely distributed on social media. This is not the first time the audio has been shared. We feel it's necessary to provide a more formal communication. The audio was well over a decade before the creation of the Satanic Temple. It was taken from a 24-hour radio show, yada yada. In the clip, Lucian disparages Jewish religious practices in a manner that the organization and Lucian acknowledge as both inappropriate and unfortunate. However, he does clarify that it is reprehensible that people would blame a bloodline for the questionable behavior and supernatural beliefs of a religion, and we should be especially cognizant of the fact that what our critics are saying, he said, isn't actually the point or whatever, blah, blah. It was taken out of context.
He's claiming the bad edit. He got a bad edit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not, as I may be defending myself against the material, I was not, and I do not agree with my opinions expressed then in any way. Back then, I was speaking of people who would say, yada, yada, yada. I grew up as ignorant white trash in a deeply divided and violent era, which affected my worldview. Basically, he's like, I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was saying.
Interesting.
Which is like, yeah, we all said crazy things in 2002 or 2003. Yeah. So at least he acknowledged it. I was like, I've changed. I don't believe in this anymore. And it seems like
and he's trying to work again.
Yeah.
I'd be interested, though, like, if those things are still happening. Because in that letter I got from that girl, she was, like, apparently still racist and is doing sexually inappropriate stuff. So I guess, like, if you know Lucian, if you're in the Satanic Temple, and if you've if you had an abortion and with help of the Satanic Temple or religious exemption, or know anything about this or the laws, or just have anything to add in general, Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
All right. Well, sending love to everyone, and we will make some donations from this episode to reputable places. We will discuss that and share that later.
Not to Nancy Pelosi, who keeps asking for money. You crazy bitch.
Yeah, these people are like, they're like, go vote.
We've given you money. We voted.
Losers. We did vote. We did vote.
Dummies.
And then this is what happened. All right. Well, I am Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And this is Web Crawlers. Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.